YouTube, and welcome to my review of My Hero Academia Season 5 episode. I'm not sure which episode number this is in Season 5, but it's episode 102 overall, Off to Endeavor's Agency. So the episode where, for the first time, Todoroki, Bakugo, and Deku go to Endeavor's agency, the #1 hero agency, where they receive over 100 requests per day. So that's pretty crazy. It's episode 14. So I didn't make a lot of notes, but I do have a few. But first, I just want to kind of recap what happened and see if there's anything that stands out other than what I wrote down. So, first of all, I'd like to say that the mystery surrounding Hawks' character is very good. It's well done. Like, I don't know whether to trust him or not, but I feel like I'm leaning towards we should, and I feel like that's exactly what the anime wants us to feel at this point. Like, you're not sure, but yeah, of course we can trust him, right? Cherry did say that she instinctively doesn't trust his when she hears the VA, but I forgot who his VA is, so I kind of want to see again. But yeah, that can sometimes be very revealing about whether a character is good or bad because of... So if you don't want to see, then... well, let me make it small so you can avoid this area of the screen. No, but... Matty says, I want to trust Hawks, but when you get into double agent stuff, you can never know. Okay, wait, I'm gonna look here, you guys. I'm gonna send you, if you want to see as well, I'm gonna send you that. You can just go to characters, and then... why did I not just type in Hawks? I'm just gonna type in... wait, there he is. Here, Hawks. His VA is Yuichi Nakamura. Oh, it's Gojo's VA. Oh, and Tsukasa. But Tsukasa... Shigure. Oh, yeah. No, but Kuro. Okay, with this VA, you can't tell. No, he's freaking... what's the guy from... what's this guy? The hero from One Punch Man. What's this guy's name again? It says Satoru here, but what's his hero name? So with this guy, you can't know, because on one hand, he's fucking Shigure and Tsukasa. But with Tsukasa, it's like, And then, but then he's Gojo, Kuro. He's Gray. He's Bruno. He's Bucciarati. Oh my god. Moomin Rider, yes. Yeah, no, but you can't know. That's good. It's good that they chose a character that you can't really know. Gray's VA? Aww. Yuzan, Hotaro. I want to watch this. Hyoka. I watched Kimi ni Todoke. He's a great character as well. Oh, he's a main character from Clannad. I can't wait to watch that too. He's a great VA. I heart. Oh, I already heart him. Of course I do, because he's that great. Okay, so yeah, but it's a good VA because it doesn't give away the character's, you know, is he good? Is he bad? We can't say based on the VA, because there's some characters where you can know. Like, I almost want... it's not for sure 100%, but I'm gonna search something and show you this next character, which I feel like if you hear that voice, you know he's a bad guy. I'm pretty sure some of you even know who I'm already... but let me see. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me see. Ah, yes. This guy. It's not a given, but it's like... when you hear this guy's voice, it's like, you know. He's probably a bad guy. Oh no, I have that feeling. He just has bad guy voice. A veteran voice actor and singer. His real name is Yasushi Ohama. He's married to fellow voice actress Rei Igarashi. Oh, who do I know? Where do I know her? I love hearing... oh, I don't know any of the characters she voices. Because I love it when I know two VAs that are married, because then I put their characters that they voiced in my head together. Dio's voice actor is also an instant bad guy for me. Yeah, but okay, cool. He does have a very great voice. Um, but anyway, let's continue talking about the episode. So yeah, the mystery surrounding his character in this episode was very well done. We learned about through his hints to uh, Endeavor, the enemy is the Liberation Army. Over 100,000 in number, 4 months to action. So in 4 months, the Liberation Army is going to take action. So probably, move so that their beliefs about what society should be like. I just don't understand. I don't like when, because a lot of people do that in real life too, I guess, to some extent. When people want to change things and they feel like, oh, society is not good and want to change things, it's like, I don't like going about it with force. Like what they're doing, they're called the Liberation Army. They're going to try and use force to enforce their ideology, their beliefs onto others because they think that society will benefit more from it. But in fact, they'll probably have to do a lot of bad things, even if their eventual goal is a better ideology. The way that they go about things already taint it, and then it will just turn out bad anyway, in my belief. So even if it was a good ideology, even if their intention is to build a better world, if you go about it the wrong way, it's tainted, and you can't fix stuff once it's been. Well, I guess it's not impossible, but I just don't like already. Because what happens a lot of the times is people choose the bad guy side because they agree with the bad guy. And because the bad guy has good ideals. But I am just not the kind of person that says the ends justify the means. I'm not there. Because I have read about, what's the line where it becomes the wrong way? When you hurt innocent people, when you force your ideology on others instead of, like, it's called the Liberation Army. I don't know much about them, but if liberation is about freedom, then forcing that on others which I'm looking at based on what I saw in this episode, they might do, then it's already the wrong way because it goes against their own ideology. It's like a show that wants to send a message against sexualizing children, but then the show sexualizes children, and I'm like, yeah, no, you did the opposite of what you know what I'm saying? So but that's a very vague question. What's the line? You can only say, does this cross the line? No. Does this cross the line? Because there's no here, you can't do this, and from this, then, because it's not like it's linear actions that you take. You can take a bunch of different actions to get to your end goal, and it's not like, oh, once you reach here, it's across the line. No, it depends which actions you take. It can be from the very beginning. It can be from later on. The ends don't justify the means. I wanted to type that, but I could not think of the phrase at all. I have this philosophy book that kind of goes through a bunch of different philosophies. I'm not a big fan of the style of it, but I do remember one part mentioning how during a certain time the kings ruled according to that. The ends do justify the means, but it's not an objectively incorrect thing. It's not fucking gravity. So I'm not saying that it's definitely wrong, but I believe that the ends do not justify the means. So a bunch. Someone brought up the fact that this whole Liberation Army things to them sounds like maybe My Hero Academia is addressing libertarianism, which just because it has the word liberation doesn't mean that it does, but it was the phrase about personal responsibility that made me think, oh, I see why you could think that, but it's too early to tell. But we can look at it. 1536, I think it was. 1536. Bakugo definitely, in my opinion, seemed to be suspicious of Hawks. The leader of the Meta Liberation Army, Destro, ultimately wanted, A society completed by personal responsibility. Matty, can you send me that other link so that I can check a different translation? Because I feel like a society completed by personal responsibility doesn't make sense to me. Like completed by. Underlying a society, underlying a value for personal responsibility. I don't know what it means, so I'm trying to figure it out. Bakugo is suspicious of Hawks. That's why he said he was faster. To me, it sounded like he wasn't saying, haha, I'm faster than you, or I was faster than you. It was like, back there, I was faster than you. And his eyes, his face just was like, why? Like, what? It's like he's just suspicious of him. Like, are you not giving 100%? Why are you here? What is this? You know, did you plan to be here? Did you know where? I don't know, but it sounds to me like. I feel like Bakugo's intelligence is a bit underrated. He is definitely very smart. As far as I know, Bakugo was meant to be this very smart, nerdy character. But then he changed his mind. But he's still a smart character. He's but he's very loud and aggressive, but he's still very smart. He's not like a dumb jock, if that makes sense. I feel like held together by is how the manga put it. A society held together by personal responsibility. That does to me sound like the very little that I know about libertarianism, I can see how that sounds like it. But like I said, limited knowledge, so we'll be learning more. Held together by. That makes way more sense. So instead of held together by, instead of requiring heroes to keep the bad guys at bay, somehow personal responsibility. But I mean, isn't it already personal responsibility? Isn't that because you do a bad thing, the heroes hold you responsible, and you then choose, do you want to keep doing bad and then go to jail, or do you want to do your time, get out, be a better person? Like, I don't know, it's kind of still, I don't know what they mean, like, personal responsibility, how much? Maybe they could mean, like, because how I understand that libertarianism is, there is very little, like, state, what do you call it? The government. There's very little government control, because the government shouldn't control you. You should be in control of you and everything that you do and blah 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 blah. I think that that's also what I understand from it. But I don't know to what extreme. Nox says, I'm just thinking of examples of countries that were formed all for revolution of violence, like the French Revolution, and in that case, I felt like the ends did reach a better country, but I can't say for sure. Of course, but that I didn't say you can't use violence. If that makes sense. Like, they want to take back their freedom. These people, it doesn't seem to me at this point like they want to take back their freedom or fight bad guys. It seems like they have an ideology about how society should work, and they want to use force to make a better society, which they think will work better. But in that case, the ends don't justify the means. I didn't say it's because of violence. You shouldn't use violence. I never said that. I just said the ends don't justify the means. Just because these bad guys, or these guys, let's not even call them bad, these guys, they want the system to work differently. And now they force that ideology, which is an ideology based on freedom, onto others. Because what else does it mean? The enemy is a liberation army. They're an army over 100,000 in number, 4 months to action. So it's like, based on what I can deduce from the little information I know, it seems like they want the system to work differently, and they're going to force it onto the current society. And in that case, the ends don't justify the means, because society isn't suffering. Like, it's not like the people in charge are evil and dictators. So it's not a revolution, liberation. It doesn't seem to me like, do you understand what I'm saying? So yeah, it wasn't about, I feel like you misunderstood, because you bring up, we're formed off revolution of violence. So my issue was not with the violence. My issue was with the ends don't justify the means. So just because they think in their head that their society is going to be better doesn't mean that they can force it onto others who don't want it and be like, well, everyone will be happier in the end once we get there. And it's like, no, that's not the justifiable, like that doesn't make it right. So but I think this includes the citizens also being as responsible as the heroes. But is that possible? People don't have the same talents. People don't have the same strengths and weaknesses. So I don't know. We know so little at this point, so it's just all speculation. I feel like it's pointless almost to wonder. Hi, Saad. Look, yellow for Saad. It's pointless almost to wonder about this because we know so little. But Endeavor did talk about how it was the opposite of what he said before. I want to make it a world where heroes have too much time on their hands. So he kept saying it's the opposite of what he used to say, but it doesn't feel completely opposite to me. Well, I don't understand. It's definitely different attitude, but a world where heroes have too much time on their hands is like there's no bad things happening, so the heroes aren't necessarily needed. But so it doesn't sound that different from this liberation thing in that sense. But the heroes, it's not that the heroes won't be needed because there's no crime. It's like there's crime, but people sort it out themselves, between themselves. Is that it? Because that sounds like everyone it would just be chaos. It's like it would go back to Stone Age when you want my food, I hit you over the head with a club. Oh, but I have bigger club. Bah, like. I don't know enough about the French Revolution to share an opinion there. I just wanted to make it clear that I'm not against violence in particular. I understand that sometimes it's the only answer, but it doesn't, like, my point was just the ends don't justify the means. Which doesn't necessarily have anything to do with violence, if that makes sense. So, but it's an interesting question that you pose. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much all my notes that I made that I wanted to talk about. But it's very interesting themes already in the very first episode. The fact that there's heroes in this army is very interesting. Hi, Lord Modru. How was your barbecue or cookout? Yeah, but honestly, I can't say more than that. With the mystery is all being very well set up. What was that thing from last time? Remember? What is... Wait. My Hero Academia notes. Remember the talented Detnerat? Expanding into a new industry. Detnerat enters the hero support business. Is that at all linked to this liberation army? I presume it might. I don't know what does presume. I'm so jealous. I also want food. I don't know if you noticed, but the army has more than 100,000 followers. Yes, I did say that. I read it just now. Over 100,000 in number. I read it. When Best Genius said he lost something, I totally don't remember what happened to him in the fight now. He lost a lung, it seems like. But as he said, as opposed to what people believe, you can survive without the lung or something. But then Hawks was like, sorry, blah blah. And I was like, no, not best genius. I think this company is funding the Liberation Army. I always assume revolts in the modern age are funded by fancy companies, by rich people with an agenda that are usually using the masses to enrich themselves more. I'm not saying all rich people are bad, but I'm saying some of them are, and it's not easy to see because they have so much money, they have other people doing their shit for them. It's like how very, very powerful leaders end up stoking fights between communities and the countries even, so that they can send them, because they profit from selling, ammunition and stuff. So yeah, very often these liberations or these organizations are funded by very bad people, and it's not always. Sometimes it's good intentions, like, oh, I believe in what you're trying to do. Here's money, but more often than not, they have an agenda. Because who just gives their money away? Not a lot of people. You can also survive with one liver. That's a very good observation. This company might be funding the Liberation Army. The hero support business. Who in your eyes are the heroes? It might be the Liberation Army. And doesn't that sound lovely? Liberation Army, an army fighting for freedom. Sure it does. Don't be fooled. I don't know yet. Maybe all of everything we've seen, maybe they're the good guys. Maybe they're gonna go about it in a good way. But from how I know the story, I just don't think so. It's a lot like Overhaul's plan from last season, but this time it's being done by a group of people who are hiding in plain sight. I love freedom and liberation. Sign me up. It's because they were using inferior goods from the black market. Is this somehow linked to Detnorat? Maybe it's a front for an underground black market. Yeah, it's all connected. Follow the money, people. Follow the money. Okay, so this was episode 14. I'm so hungry right now. I can't wait to watch Gintama and eat food. But I don't know what I'm gonna eat. So the episode title was Off to Endeavor's Agency. Score. I'll give it. Let me quickly do the score. I want freedom and liberation from morality. That's a joke, right? Because it has the evil kappa face. I just want to point out to viewers viewing this later, it's a joke because I don't think that they mean that. What is this? Naruto Seasonals, Attack on Titan Seasonals. Here we go. Yeah, a joke. Okay, episode of... Wait, was this 14 or 13? Because the last episode I have is 12. Oh yeah, it is 14. I didn't score the last episode. Did I not score the last episode? Okay. Yeah, because the last one was the Christmas one, so that was 13, so this is 14. Okay. I think the story is so far powerful. It's great. I'm gonna give it a 9. Characters. Damn, we have the 3 mains here. These 3 for me are the 3 mains. So them, the number 2 hero, what he's now the number 1. Hawks, great. The characters, great. This is like the beginning of a new arc, so it's like kind of a debut episode, and all over the visuals when Endeavor was fighting. Damn, for me that was all the whole episode's visuals. Damn, it was just 9. It was a good episode for My Hero Academia. Audio, not a big fan of the opening yet, but that changes over time usually. But I really like the ending song. So I'm gonna give for audio overall 8.8 and enjoyment 8.8. So that gives us an overall score of 8.9. Vasilij gives it a 9.1. Let me just add 8.9 here, and I'll type what I have here, which was the enemy is the Liberation Army, over 100,000 in number, 4 months to action. This was the message from Hawks to Endeavor. Endeavor. And then I just want to save the part about, where's that part of 1536. A society completed by personal responsibility. So I want to just check. Meta Liberation Army, a society completed by personal responsibility. So the liberation, the Meta Liberation Army wants a society held together by personal responsibility. 9 out of 10, I'm really enjoying My Hero Academia this season. Plus, the air of mystery is great. I can't wait to see where this all leads to. Yep. That's from Cherry. Matty says, the episode gave me a lot to think about, and I liked a lot of it. So, 9.3. I kind of want to just round it up to a 9, to be honest. Yes, I rounded up to a 9. I think it deserves it. The Meta Liberation Army wants society held together by personal responsibility. So let me quickly Google here. Meta definition is referring to itself or the conventions of its genre. Self-referential. Denoting a change of position or condition. I'm gonna... referring to itself or the conventions of its genre. Self-referential. So that's what meta means. So it's like the Meta Liberation Army. Self-referential. I agree. I really like the themes in the season. Aside from Deku's new quirk, I'm really digging this season. I'm still on the fence with the Deku's new quirk thing, because to me it's like it's something different, which is cool, but let's see where they go with it before I commit to liking it. Meta is what the people with powers are called. Oh. I'm just gonna add it there for curiosity's sake anyway. Okay, liberation. Not liberation. Liberation definition. The action of setting someone free from imprisonment, slavery, oppression, release. Okay, I like that they use a name like that because they truly believe, and as far as we know, we don't know yet that they're the bad guys, but it often happens that way where the bad guys think that they stand for something good. And then they call themselves, I don't know. There's one or two instances where I can think where a certain group, I don't want to say anything, but yeah, a certain group preaches tolerance and inclusivity, but so much so that they end up becoming intolerant and uninclusive. And that is what this feels like to me. It's like, oh, Liberation Army. But on some level, it feels like they're achieving the opposite, or I don't know. It's where I think the story might go with it, but based on, you know, the fact that for 3 seasons we've been on the hero side. We've never seen that the heroes are particularly, like, they're not perfect, but they're there to fight and to save people, right, and to help. So by the opposition, I immediately assume the story's gonna, this is gonna be the next villain. So that's why I'm assuming at this point that the Liberation Army is the bad guy, the next bad guy. So, like, let's say people with power, for example, the heroes in this world, they have a lot of restrictions set upon them to keep others safe. Like, you can't just go flying around, zooming or spooping lasers. So that limits their freedom. In real life as well, we can't just walk into a store and take anything that we want. Apples, even though apples grow in nature, you can't just walk into a store and grab an apple. That's stealing. So that essentially limits your freedom because you're not allowed to do that. But isn't that good? Because what if you grew that apple and to sell so that you can earn money to make a living? You don't want someone stealing that apple. So, because that feels like, I don't know, I don't think that it inhibits your freedom because you're free to grow more apples. But you spend the time to grow the apple, so you don't want someone just walking in and stealing it, right? So to some extent, it's like, I feel maybe this Liberation Army doesn't like the restrictions set upon heroes, because there's probably major restrictions. Heroes and people with powers, they want to be able to use it however they want and do whatever they want, which sounds nice, but if you want to be secure or have security, you need restrictions, which naturally limits freedom. Exactly. And that's where I think what they don't like. They want to sacrifice security for freedom, and I understand that to some extent. Because if I wanted to be 100% safe, I should just stay in my house all the time. Like, not 100%, because you can still die here, but there's less of a chance, right? Considering causes of death that aren't natural in South Africa, like, the safest place is my house. But now, let's say the government forces me all the time to stay home. Like, it's dangerous out there. There's the crime rates are so bad and this and that, so you should always be at home. We'll deliver you the exact amount of food you need. We take care of you. You'll live until the age of 70. Never maybe being stabbed. But is that okay? Is that not limiting my freedom too much at the expense of the freaking... You should be focusing on stopping the stabbings, not keeping me in my house to not be stabbed, right? So there's it's very vague. There's no, this is right, this is wrong, this is too much freedom, this is too little freedom. That is for us to decide with our community, you know? So, like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I think all of that makes it more or less clear what I mean. I got stabbed twice, but it never made me not want to go outside. So how would you feel, Matty? You've got stabbed twice. So the government says to you, Matty, there's a chance you might be stabbed again. We're going to force you to stay home. You're not allowed to go out now because what if you get stabbed again and die? And we don't want you to die. Don't you think that is an unnecessary invasion of your freedom when you're not the one? They should stop the stabbers, not you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So limiting freedom is necessary sometimes, but there's limits. There's discussions that need to be had. So you can't just... Now what the Liberation Army seems to be doing is they're not okay with the limits that has been set by the people who want to keep them safe, and they're like, well, we're gonna take back our freedom, which sounds nice, but so far as I can tell, it's important for there to be limits to how you use your powers, because you could hurt other people, you could hurt yourself. And there is, it's like it's kind of, isn't it like gun laws? Like, you can, in South Africa, for example, well, let's not use South Africa as an example, but okay, let's use South Africa as an example. So, like, you can get guns, but you have to get the gun license, and to get the gun license, you have to wait like a year and do training and blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of like their powers. You can't just, yes, it's your power. You can also just punch someone to death if you want, but we have to use our power responsibly. If a guy or a girl is born and she's really strong and she can just punch anyone to death, should she? Because she can? No, because what if she wants to punch me to death? I don't want her to punch me to death. So her freedom to punch me to death must be limited in order for my freedom to be safe, because you also must be allowed to be safe. But there's a limit to that too. Oh, we want to keep you safe. Stay indoors for the rest of your life. No, you're not allowed to go outside. You're not allowed to That I don't want that either. So that's why we live in societies with predetermined rules. But the best way to make rules is through intellectual means and discuss and, in my opinion, to discuss and that's why philosophy is so important. To discuss and agree and blah 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 and or disagree or what's the word for meet in the middle, stuff like that, because there's no definite right or definite wrong, but we do want to live together because we benefit from that. We benefit because I can't make food and like skin sheep and then have chops and then have that. You know, a society has people making furniture and people making food and people making art and people making machinery and people blah 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 blah, and that's why society works. Skin sheep, whatever, shear sheep, I don't know what it's called, I don't do it. In the USA, an MMA fighter or boxer gets into a fight outside the ring, they could be charged with assault with a deadly weapon because the skills they've been trained on how to use their fist. In season 2, the dog guy from the police said it's not legal to use a quirk in self-defense. You need to have a hero license to use quirks. And not even in self-defense? Okay, but it might be because they can only... A hero license. How do you get the hero license? That makes sense because it's... With the gun thing, it's the same. You need to... Like, I used to think... With a gun, you have to, like, aim for the leg. And that's a good thing. No, it's not. You have to aim for the biggest part because if you miss, a leg is so tiny. If you miss and it ricochets and hits an innocent bystander, that's your fault because the bullet left your gun. So that's why you have to be trained to use it so that it at least limits the risk of you hurting innocent bystanders. So I kind of understand that because it's your power, you need to learn how to use it. It's the same with this MMA thing. Like, you can't just use it willy-nilly because you've been trained to use it very lethally. So, like, that gives you more responsibility. Yeah. Gumu go for the leg. To get the hero license, you have to do some crazy hard test or babysit kids. All the gang orca stuff. Maybe I would agree. Okay, it's a bit... There should be a half hero's license, a self-defense hero's license. You know, I don't want to be a hero, but I want to be able to use my quirk and control it. If that is their goal, I agree with them. Somehow I doubt that that's their goal though. And I feel like if you have that opinion, if you have an opinion that says, I think there should be not just a hero license, but a general use license. If I need to, in an emergency, use my quirk, if I need to self-defend, but I don't want to be a hero, then there should be a quiz for that. Something that where you go, you tell them this is my quirk, this is what it is, teach me how to use it, show them that you can control it, and then you have that. And that's good. So I feel like if you have that opinion, then you should start, like, how does anything become the norm? How are laws made? You talk to people about it, you spread the message, like Hawks is doing with the book, for example. Like, you get signatures, you do demonstrations or actual peaceful protests. Or like there's various ways that you can go about it before making 100,000 liberation army, and then I don't know what you're gonna do, but it doesn't feel like it's gonna be nice. It's not gonna be like we're gonna go sit and talk. So I have a theory that if the Liberation Army will be the bad guys of this arc, their logic and the thing that they will reply to the heroes when they're fighting per se will be freedom means to do whatever you want or something like that. And the reason they will be the bad guys, if so, it will be probably because they will cause harm by doing so, and their actions they will take away from others people's freedom. Yep, I get you. I forget if we've delved deep into the history of My Hero Academia, that those early problems exist. I don't remember. The problem with watching a show over such a long period of time is like you forget first season stuff. I forget first season stuff. I don't know about the history. But I feel like the thing with the dog mentioning that you can't use you need a hero's license to use your quirk, that says a lot to me. I didn't remember that. And I think that there should be like a general use license so that you can learn to, so that, because not everyone wants to be a hero, but we do want to learn to control our powers. Not me, because I don't have powers, but if I were in this world, I would want to learn how, like, this is my power, this is how it works, this is what it's capable of. Here, I can prove that I can control it enough for, if there's an emergency, to use it. Or even, because that, in an emergency means hero, to be a hero in an emergency. So, but I mean, for instance, like, it's very difficult to come down to a agreement or even a, what do I want? When are you allowed to use it? So it's so easy to just be like, nope, not allowed to. Because it's so difficult, like, how do you win? But I think that maybe in society does need more clear rules. Like if it's, I would also like to know about that stuff. I feel like there are like 100 years of people with quirks that must have kind of complicated social issues. Feels like early X-Men stuff. They could make a whole arc on the theme. This might be the arc. Who knows? I remember there was an approximately similar arc with the hero killer Stain in season 2. I don't know. It might have been building towards this, but I don't think it was. I don't get the exact same feeling from it. But it might have been building towards this. I don't remember Stain's specific goal. He was more like heroes or shouldn't be heroes because, I don't know. No, it wasn't really the same, but no, it's very interesting themes, and I look forward to learning more about this Liberation Army and their goals. And society, the thing is, society is never perfect, just like people are never perfect. We have different beliefs, different goals, different religions, different cultures. We are never going to be at the point where, society, now perfect. Because you as a person are never perfect. We're always growing, we're always learning. So if that is true of the individual, it should be true of the groups that are made up by said individuals. So society will never be perfect, and we're always, it's what's the thing about evolution? Adapt or die. We're always needing to adapt. And so to imagine that we're going to come to a perfect system is stupid. So we need to find at the very least a system that is capable of constantly evolving with the times, with the people, and that gives people more control over it. In that sense, I like the concept of libertarianism, because the people have the control. But you also don't want mob rule. So it's very difficult. But that's why it's so important to constantly be in communication. That's why philosophy is so important, so that we can talk about these things implement them, see how it works, unimplement them, blah, 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 blah. Voting and yada, yada, yada. It's so difficult. How does society even work? How is there not still a world war every day? I don't know. Considering how different we are, I think, like, the world could be a lot worse than it is. Okay, George Lucas. Why? Nothing lasts forever. Everything is subject to change. Wait, the George Lucas? Who's George Lucas? I think I'm thinking of George Michael. I thought it was lyrics to one of his songs, but it's not. But okay, I'm probably gonna end the video here. I really have high hopes for this arc. But I'm hungry now. I'm gonna go get food and then we're gonna watch Gintama. Nukes have a lot. Why there isn't another world war? Katie having a mini breakdown over these problems. But it's so confusing. Because people don't want to talk. And we need a lot of talking. Okay, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the next episodes. High hopes. Thank you everyone for watching with me and for listening to my review if you did. In the live chat, Cherry, Lord Modru, William, Tiago, Matty, Vasilij, Knox, and if I missed anyone, Mike is here. Thank you for the input. I really enjoyed the discussion. I think that we can talk a lot about it in the future, but before I do, I want to know more about this Liberation Army and their actual goal. So, damn, everyone turned into a philosopher today. We need some Gintama, and the only thing we will discuss is about poop jokes, if poop jokes are funny or not. That in and of itself is a philosophical discussion, because it comes down to comedy, and what is comedy, and can comedy go too far, or be too stupid, or blah, blah, blah. Everything. That is why the highest degree you can get, a PhD, which is a doctorate of philosophy. So it means, like, for all those years, you learn how to do it, and then you learn to unlearn and rethink. It's like how and then why. Does that make sense? The first jokes found in written history is a fart joke. Isn't that true? I feel like that could be true, but I don't know. Okay, anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.